No. He's had a very nice. I think he had a very nice drill.
Well, I think he
said overall.
Yeah, overall, he just he hasn't had a great day, so it could be frustration, just boiling over from just not, having the kind of day he wants. All right, I'm trying the YouTube stream again and see if this works.
Yep. As long as you get it muted before they go to the commercial, you're usually all right. Like as soon as they start that outro music, because they're going to commercial.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. We're so freaking close.
Yeah, but you know what else he's also doing? He's accepted the challenge. Watch
every freaking offense. Always has to test it. Everything.
I can't believe Logan Jones was the fastest offensive lineman.
Yeah, he was.
I'm not surprised at that. Like, he was supposed to be faster.
Rich, as I get set to depart Indianapolis after a week of information gathering and whatever else goes on here. Obviously, today is about the big guys, the offensive linemen. This week, though, has been about the veteran quarterbacks available or soon to be available in free.
Looks like Kyler Murray is going to get released.
Yeah, that's great.
Nobody wants to trade for him.
Really one of the things that the NFL is going to sort
out. Weird. Minnesota wants to trade for AR-15, but not Kyler Murray. Make that make sense.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah.
What costs more money?
To me, honestly, AR. Anthony Richardson is not better than JJ McCarthy, so I wouldn't. If you're going to do that, you might as well just keep JJ.
That's a lateral move to me.
Yeah, it is a lateral move.
Probably not your typical starting quarterback.
I think it's about bringing in competition for
JJ. Raiders need to figure out Justin Fields.
Like you want him around someone with his level.
It's going to be a lot of
I don't think you would want to put in someone like Kyler probably immediately.
I mean, Richardson couldn't even beat up Daniel Jones. So, I mean,
exactly.
Next week might be about the quarterbacks who are set to be freed from their current teams and where they end up landing.
Ooh, okay, Vegas.
Great job this
Okay,
week.
Vegas. Okay, Vegas.
He's had really nice feet today.
Yes, he has.
Logan Jones. Logan Jones. Woohoo! You see the you see it?
Yeah, I love it.
He said,
You're willing to take him in the first round?
Logan Jones?
Yeah.
No. I love him. Not that much.
All right.
Because we pick at 14, that would be an overreach. And we've learned our lesson from taking a center in the first round, haven't we, fellas? Look where we at now. Yes, because we took Linderbaum in the first round, right? And now we couldn't extend the fifth-year option or franchise tag him because there is no offensive guard or interior offensive line tag. He would have gotten paid as like a left tackle.
Yeah, it would have been a $28 million cap hit.
Yeah, so it's not worth it's not really worth drafting a center in the first round, unless you're going to plan on getting the contract done early. Because and they wouldn't even do it early. If I'm that center or guard, I'm just going to wait until free agency because I know you're not going to tag me.
Well, actually, the official numbers came out, and it's not 28 million. It went down to 25 for offensive linemen on the non-exclusive, and for the transitional. But that's for the exclusive. For the transitional one, it's 23.
Have another year.
That's what I
That was per Adam Schefter.
That's why
so it's a $25 million cap hit if you for a fifth-year option or for the franchise tag.
For a fifth-year option on any offensive lineman, it's just offensive lineman. It's not tackle.
It's still too much though because the highest paid center right now is Creed Humphrey, and he's only making like $17 million. So you're gonna pay Linderbaum $25 million for one season? I think no. I think not.
They need to do it now.
So then why would they?
I think not. I wouldn't do that. 25, 28 don't make a difference. It's the same. It's ridiculous that they don't have a number specifically for guards and centers. Like you don't got to do guards and centers individually, but you can say, well, we got the tackle tag and we have the interior offensive line tag.
All the way. Switch.
Because basically, let's look at it in a couple years. If the Seahawks plan to tag Gray Zabel, They're gonna have to pay Gray Zabel like a left tackle.
I would love for. I mean, this
If they tag
is
him.
not them saying this is me saying.
And Gray Zabel's good, but he ain't a left tackle.
Stay healthy, take the next step.
There's another interesting guy right there, Billy.
But they are not going to.
The unofficial RAS for Logan Jones is 9.56.
Nice.
9.76 for Brian
There
Parker.
you go. Bo Stevens. Iowa again.
Wentz was their
9.91 for Slaughter.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
or they want a better power.
I would
Nice.
say the latter.
Nice. Not quite as good as Logan, but good. I think he tried to anticipate on one of them, which is why he stumbled.
Where does
Yeah, did it twice.
He tried to assume. Yeah, he tried to assume that he was going. And I think the coach knew that too. That's why he switched it up on him,
around a little bit.
because he know these guys are trying to anticipate.
Another name I've heard. I'll start throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Keep going. Switch.
I like Caleb. I love turning.
I know
I need to
Atlanta is
I
excited about Penix.
He had really bad measurables
They
today.
just got to keep him
but
healthy.
That's not a
And
thing.
that's the.
He also
Yeah,
looks
he's
like
good.
he's like 37 all the time.
Caden
Yeah, but
Proctor's
I
got a
sense, like, with
9.28.
Tua, I never got the.
Nice.
I get a different level of excitement, at least right now. With I think Stefanski really likes Penix and
That was
believes he
smooth.
can win the division with him.
He's had a smooth day today too. I
So
thought.
what do you do until Penix comes back? Unless they
I think they'd be in that.
Hey,
that
couple projections,
veteran market, so
fellas. Who wins the NFC South this year?
Probably the Bucks.
So we got Stefanski in Atlanta now. Todd Bowles still in Tampa. We still have
Let me see what Carolina does. I
got
can't
more
Carolina-
in New Orleans.
They weigh in. They do a flex test where you'll see them do kind of a free squat, and you can keep.
I need to see what they do in
how
free
these guys
agency.
really bend.
Free agency.
That's a little
For Carolina.
video
I
that
could
we
put
showed
Carolina,
you
yeah.
the draft room and offensive
If
So
they have a-
pre-Carolina though, what do you think?
Buccaneers.
Okay.
I've got no faith in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta is super inconsistent.
Yeah.
Some of these highlights here. Here's Venga Ioane. He's a top off.
Feel like
Yeah,
they're about to
this
go to
is a
the
good
commercial.
time to do it. As soon as they do that, they're getting ready to go to commercial. It was a good
Yeah.
thing it was their original music that's not copyrighted.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
No,
Yeah,
nine.
Tiernan came in definitely with the short arms, but man. Yeah, bring me Logan Jones at center and Jennings Dunker at guard, or give me Keelan Rutledge at guard. I take either two of those guys, and then go out and get me Wyatt Teller as a free agent with the money that you save on Linderbaum, in my opinion. What do you think, Coach?
Diego Pounds got a 9.5. Spencer Fanu got a 9.76. Enrique Cruz got a 9.84. Caleb Lomu 9.88.
Yeah.
Blake Miller 9.94.
2 Super Bowl rings with a different quarterback.
All right, I want to see you
Different
redirect them,
coach.
and then
Parker
you're gonna
Brailsford
go
an
in,
8.82.
shoot, get out in
Super
front of the
Bowl. I
screen,
mean, how
and then you're gonna
repeatable do you
kick
think
out,
it might be?
or you're gonna
Well,
go
there's an
inside.
element that we
Either
haven't
way,
shown.
you're
We've talked
hugging
about
it tight.
them. We've
So
talked
we're
about what's
tying a
come
bunch
in
of
the
drills
door.
together.
What do you think about that coach though? What I came up with?
Resources that came back in that trade. DK Metcalf, the resources that came back in that trade. Understanding again where your windows are and saying, okay,
Yeah,
these guys
I'm with that all day long. The reason being is because we don't have to rely on 2 young guys, and there's just always a propensity for one of them to not progress like you want them to progress. So yeah, I'm with that. The other thing is too, I think we need to have somebody, even if it's at the collegiate level, we need to have somebody that we bring in that has as much experience as you can possibly have when it comes down to double teaming. Because it's just like I told you, teams are going to look at that and try and go after them one-on-ones. And then so that center that we do bring in, if we don't bring Linderbaum back, his double team awareness is going to have to be like next level. Because now we're talking guys like, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, because they're going to feast on those type of things. If we know you don't have good guard play, I'm going in a 3-tech or lining up at a 5, and then I'm stunting back across. So yeah, I love that. I love that particular tandem with Teller and the young guy. Shoot, if we don't even get that sexy, I'm good with taking another guy, because I think hold on, let me look at the free agents. There's some other guys out there too that may be a little cheaper option. So
Cade Mays. He's
Yeah,
a
Cade
good
Mays.
one.
Yeah, he's another one.
Man, these offensive linemen just want to do everything, man. Freaking typing a storm over here.
Micah Morris, offensive guard out of Georgia, got a 998 unconfirmed. Chase Bissonitis, 985.
Manuel Pregnon,
942.
There you go. And then I would go watch him work out, and he would wrestle everyone.
Redirect him, go, Ron.
My senior year, I covered Bo Schembechler's final season. I had some chats with some legends.
That's pretty cool.
You didn't mess around with those hail fellow
Don't throw him.
did you?
Stab him.
He came in big.
I just remember my first time I was in a
Make sure he's
setting
gone
with Bo
inside.
was in a
Put your right foot on that
conference
little tick mark.
room.
There we go.
or this place called Weber's Inn.
Redirect
Where
with
Bo
him.
would have his Tuesday chit chat with the media.
Redirect with him, Rutledge.
I
Redirect.
got there really early. I was the only one at the table, and I grabbed that.
Yeah. There's our guard coach.
In the room.
Rutledge and Jones. How we feeling about it? Ravens Flower,
Oh, yeah.
talk to me.
Here I am.
Hey,
Rutledge
look,
and Jones.
Redirect.
Yeah,
Introduce myself.
yeah, because I think Jones started with 51 out of 52 games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, as long as they got some experience, I'm cool with that. I don't need the hey, look, I started 18 games out of 52. I don't need that. we can leave that somewhere else.
He also won the award for the top center in the country. So we know he fits
Right.
the outside zone, and you give me Rutledge, you give me Jones, and you give me Teller as a free agent. We know Teller is a scheme fit because he ran outside zone with Stefanski.
Mhm.
Dunker looked fantastic. He looked like Dunker.
Looked like Dunker.
Like he's
And
going
his
to be
hair-
a hell of a
his-
solid guard, and his hair was
and he-
glorious.
And his hair was glorious. You took the words right out of my mouth, Jeremy. His hair was glorious. Glorious is exactly what I was about to say. His hair was phenomenal. Phenomenal hair. Elite hair. He has
Here's
elite hair.
Oh,
Here's a situation that I thought
He has
about.
elite hair.
What if the Lions trade back to the beginning of the second round, get their third rounder and a fifth rounder with somebody that has like the extra picks, right? At the beginning of that second round, you grab Jennings Dunker, you just fix the left guard situation. Then later on, you just go ahead and snag up Logan Jones.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Charm City player Brandon says, I don't know because I really don't want to focus on building three positions on the offensive line. I don't think you have to. Emory Jones is already going to be slotted in as one of your guards. He's going to be a starting guard. You drafted him in the third round last year. He's starting this year. All right. So now it's really just two positions, and that's center. If you lose Linderbaum, which is every day is looking more possible.
Look at
and your right guard. So
Dunker almost did the same thing. The same thing to that coach that Proctor did.
Mm-hmm.
He hit him, and it was like boom, his whole head snapped back.
Yeah, man, that's a car accident. So you talking about Logan Jones at center. You put Wyatt Teller next to him at right guard, and you put Emory Jones next to him at left guard, and then you have Keelan Rutledge as a rookie to learn behind Wyatt Teller because you're only gonna have Wyatt Teller for a couple years. So let Rutledge learn behind Teller, and you good.
Yeah, but where you have to take him at, you may not want him to sit. You know what I'm saying? Because coaches think that way. So do GMs. If you take somebody in day one and day two, you normally want them to start.
I would say this. You might want them to, but the thing is if you don't have to, I think that's ideal, right? Because if he's getting picked in day 2, day 3, there's obviously going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and if you already have a rock solid veteran there, then you're good. Or here's the thing: you let Rutledge compete with Emory Jones, and whichever one of the two youngsters win that job, they earn it, and then you go from, and then the other one becomes a reserve, right? Remember, Emory Jones played right tackle in college, so he could be your swing guy. He could be your right tackle / guard backup if someone gets injured, and then the other guy starts, right? So either way, I think you're in a good situation. I think you need to add a veteran guard, and I think you need to add a guard in the draft and a center, especially if you lose Linderbaum. Now, here's the thing. A guy that's interesting is Elgin Jenkins from the Green Bay Packers, who will probably be released. He's a center and a guard, so he gives you kind of both. You can add him and still add one of these guards, but I think, I mean, if you bring in, if your interior offensive line is Emory Jones, Logan Jones, and Wyatt Teller, I think you're really looking good. And if you add Keelan Rutledge, I think you're still looking good either way.
I'll trade you Graham Glasgow for a snack-sized can of Pringles.
No, we're good.
Because as a backup center, he's fine, but as a starter, oof.
See, Ravens have 11 picks. I like what let me post this tweet. I mean this Twitch mess comment. Only issue with going Dunker and then Jones for the Lions is depending on free agency. We have some spots to fill on defense too. And this one's for you, Jeremy. You want Davenport too?
No. Davenport can kick rocks. Davenport, DJ Reader, both of them gone.
You don't want DJ Reader?
No. He went from okay to ass in one season.
Hey, coach, how would you feel we signed Hargraves as a free agent? Apparently, the Minnesota's going to release him.
Is he going to be a primary or is he going to be a rotational guy? Because that's my only issue with the guy that was going to bring in. That's a little bit older. He's 33. I just, again, I want. It's just like I was talking about a couple of shows ago. I don't want a premier guy that, hey, he's going to try and get 15 sacks. I want a guy that's going to stay fresh, especially if we're going to try and make a deep run. Because we know that shows up more than the guy that has 22 sacks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying he's going to go and try and get 22 sacks, but I also say, hey, look, okay, if we was to get Madubuike back and he's fully good to go, and then we have a Peter Woods, and then we turn around and we sign him as like, hey, okay, look, this is to make a strength even stronger. Yes, I'm cool with that. But if we're sitting here saying, hey, look, we don't get Madubuike back, and we're going to try and replace Madubuike with Hargrave, then no, not just that. I don't think that's enough. So again, and then also he's dealt with some injuries too. That's another reason why I don't want him to hey, look, we're going to depend on this guy to play 85, 90% of our snaps defensively. I just don't think he's going to hold up.
I don't think he would. I think you would bring him in as a rotation because I think you're going to draft one too. You can get like an Albert Regis or a Peter Woods or one of these D tackles we've been talking about. I think he'd be a rotational guy along with Travis Jones and Madubuike. Maybe he pushes John Jenkins off the roster.
Right. And now for him though, the impact would be great because he's going to
be dominant.
Right. Because now it's like, hey, when you try and run away from Jones, you can't get away. You can't get away with doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think for me, it's like I wouldn't see like I didn't ever want to trade for Hargraves because what people didn't realize like that was $20 million, and granted they could pay the bulk of it, but I'm fine with bringing him in as a rotational piece, but it's the same level of like I want to get a little bit more youth. You do need a vet in there, and it gives you insurance. But he has also kind of declined to some level of where he was at, which is part of the reason the Vikings want to get rid of him in the first place. But the other reason, obviously, being because the Vikings have no money at all.
The report came out today. They're going to release him. So you like him better as a free agent than you do a trade, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he doesn't count against the comp pick. That's the thing. If you want to stay away from giving up your comp picks, You go out, you sign Elgin Jenkins from Green Bay, you sign Javon Hargraves from Minnesota, right? And you fixed 2 issues on your team without giving up your comp pick.
Javon Hargraves would be a good fit for next to Matabuke.
Yeah. And if you get Metabike back, then it's just icing on the cake. I mean, because now you got Javon Hargraves, Travis Jones, Nnamdi Metabike, Aeneas Peoples.
When he went down just before we played you guys, I said, it's trouble for them. They won't be able to stop the run up the middle.
Nope. And we couldn't. And then also a guy that fans are high on with the Ravens is CJ Okoye.
Yeah.
He's a guy that a lot of people like, and I think Weaver could get the most out of him as well as Mentor. I think they could do some good things with him. Also, Coach Spo, really good D-line coach we just got from Michigan. I think he could do some good things with a just a raw piece of clay like CJ Okoye.
Right.
Yep. God, I freaking hate
What about somebody said? What about Deshaun Hand? Because he's a guy that played under Jesse's defense.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a bad fit for you guys.
He wouldn't be a bad fit either.
Player.
He wouldn't be. I think Hargraves gives you more value because he wouldn't cost you a comp pick.
But Hand is less of a DT. He's a tweener. You could play him at edge too. So it'd give you somebody in the rotation to play at both positions.
My guy, Emmanuel Pregnon.
I only did this drill so much better.
I like him. Yeah, he did. He did.
I like Pregno. Don't get me wrong.
Bro, he's nasty though. You know, it kind of reminds me of, he's not quite as big, obviously, but he reminds me of a little bit of a like Colecchio simile, just because of the nasty disposition. And just he wants to bury you in the ground and his the way he attacks in the run game. Yeah. Man, look at that. Come on, man. Come on.
Crazy work.
Man, you put him him on that Ravens offensive line, and we are at work. But he'll be gone because I wouldn't take him in the first. So
well, that's basically it, isn't it? That's the last of the drills. That's all the offensive linemen, all 57 of them, was it?
I think so.
There was
56. Let's see what they're talking about.
Okay.
It'd be great. But if you didn't know where the answers were, you spent your time searching for them, and you know what you did? You failed the exam. None of these people were failing the exam. It was there for them, and they were acing it.
That's why we like having our open book when it comes to the bios and stuff. Shout out to Tony and our great research.
Yes. Thank you, Tony. And by the way, we did read it.
My comp to Logan Jones, though, was Frank Ragnow.
I'll take that. You talking about all pro Frank Ragnow?
Yeah. Happens right behind us. We talked a lot about Caleb Lomu.
Okay.
And
look at all that getting in the air.
Look at all that getting in the air. Look at all that getting in the air.
You're not going up to catch a pass here. So what are you looking for as an evaluator?
Listen, when you go 9'5" and you are 300+ pounds, I mean, you're talking about some explosiveness, right? You're talking about coming out of there, firing out of a stance, and being able to knock someone back off of their mark. 32-inch vertical.
Anybody over
like Blake Miller?
For a guy that big.
He was all right. He wasn't my favorite.
Saw how easily he moved.
My favorite, one of my favorite guys is Max Ahinacor.
9'3" for Pregnon is crazy.
Look at this, 35 on the vertical for Pregnon.
35-inch
We are
vertical.
getting some very explosive, strong people that are showing up here.
He looks like he's like 47.
Hey, don't sleep on Northwest.
Caleb Tiernan. He looks like you with a haircut, Jordan.
No,
very good guard for the.
I wouldn't have a goatee.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
Never a goatee.
Hey, 350-pound Caden Proctor went 9-1.
We know that could be described in one word. Fast.
That's
Every
insane.
group except the quarterback set a 40 record.
350 pounds jumping 9 feet. That whole stadium
They're
shook.
slackers. Maybe we'll check out in 2027. But overall, it starts with a very deep edge group. We know what's going to happen with pick number 1. The Jets will sit at 2, and they're going to have their choice of some really good football players.
They really are. And the thing that keeps striking me is experience, because we are in a time frame now when kids are staying in school a little bit longer, maybe taking the extra year. The NIL helps. We're finally getting to the end of the extra year with COVID, but also the NCAA is being a little more liberal with injuries and situations like that, granting the extra year, and people are taking advantage of that, and they're getting 30, 40, 50 starts, which is great experience. And you know who's loving this? The NFL, because you're getting all these guys who are coming in with all that play time, time on task, game situations, which makes you a better player.
All right, so let's start with one of the guys we saw on Thursday, and David Bailey. He didn't have to come out here and run the 40. He did. He didn't have to go through and do all the drills. He did, and he did not miss a rep, and he certainly impressed us all.
I love the way you phrased it, Chris. He didn't have to, but internally, he had to. He felt like, hey, if I'm the guy that everyone thinks I am, if I'm the guy that I know that I am, I'm going to come out and let everybody see it. You know, this isn't one of those things where I'm going to, hey, you go ahead and guess that. I've already done my work. Here we go. You want to see David Bailey? You want to know what I'm about? You want to know I'm about work? Here I am. So he was healthy. He was ready to go. And this guy now is in play in a serious way, especially with the Jets' move recently. With the trade.
Johnson.
Brian Burns, you like the comp?
I think this comp is really good because Brian Burns is a tremendous edge rusher who doesn't get the respect.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
He don't have the bend that Burns has.
Yeah.
Continued with the 40-yard dash and all of the field. Are you okay?
All I can do is laugh. I do is laugh. And you know, I played the game and thought I was an okay athlete, pretty decent, right? I can't even get even near people like this. Not even in my dreams when I'm going full Walter Mitty. It just doesn't work, right? This type of combination of size, speed, football intelligence, playmaking ability, love and passion for the game. The Styles brothers, they've got it all.
And now the discussion will continue, but how high can you draft an off-ball linebacker? Well, this is a guy that's 6'5", 244 pounds, ran the way that he did, jumped the way that he did, and is an outstanding football player. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, well, how the heck can he make it out of the top 10?
That's what you think to yourself, and I think that I agree with you totally. And my biggest thing on it is very simply this. How creative are you on the defensive side of the ball? Just because he starts it off the ball doesn't mean he doesn't move to the edge. Dante Hightower helped change a Super Bowl with a big play like that against Atlanta when he was with New England.
Good call. All right, time right now for Pro Comparisons. It is presented to you by Microsoft Copilot, informing scouting decisions with fast insights. Francis Mauigoa, Penei Sewell. Okay, everybody talks about the arms, and do we have to kick him inside? I think Penei Sewell's been just fine outside.
You guys like this comp?
He's definitely going to hear his name called in that top 10.
The feet are different for me.
I would have equated him to somebody that actually was a right tackle in college versus Sewell that was a left tackle with better footwork. His footwork was impeccable.
I think it was a lazy low-hanging fruit comp. It's just like,
they just looked at the size.
He's Polynesian, and he's the same size.
I think that's the thing with it too. Is like no one should ever be compared to him as a tackle coming out. You're just asking for a rough time.
I'm trying to think of a good right tackle. I'm thinking of one. Who was that played for the Chiefs there for a few years? During the beginning of the Super Bowl runs was with Alex Smith and then with Mahomes.
Yeah, I keep thinking of Fisher, but it's the other one.
Yeah, he was the left. It's the other one, but he was that type of tackle.
Schwartz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a proper pro comp for him. A guy with shorter arms does a good job protecting the open side that the quarterback can see.
Size and ethnicity, pretty much. That's what it was. Size and
ethnicity is crazy.
I mean, that's pretty much what they did.
That's what happened when Disney owns you.
Got him. That's our trend. Max Ionager with the official 491, which helps him out.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Only thing to question him is his age. Everything else is fun.
He's what, 25?
Yeah, he's probably gonna be 26 into the season. Don't love it, but at the same time, I thought he had like pretty sloppy footwork early on. He's still like young at the position, right? Like he came in at 22 when he was first transferred over into college, so he's just a late bloomer. But like he was a little sloppy early on. I don't know what he changed from that to the Senior Bowl, but the Senior Bowl, like his feet looked like a completely different person. I was just like, oh my god, like how'd you figure this out? Like most of the time, you have to spend a whole year figuring this out. He just did it in like a 2-month span. I can't believe it.
Right. And he's got the versatility. He's played at both tackle positions.
Yes, he has.
So that's something to look at too. You know, that's somebody that is supposed to be a day 2 second round pick all day, according to what everybody has him at. And I don't think he hurt his draft stock today. I think he helped cement it right in that day 2 slot.
Yeah. It's really like him and Blake Miller about like who's the first one off the board. And then Lomu if you have Lomu there. Yeah. And Lomu if you have Lomu there. But
I think Lomu's going to be a first rounder.
That's where I'm at too.
Oh, for sure.
I think
For
it's
sure.
no matter who goes first, it's either going to be Mauagawa or it's going to be Lomu. It's going to be one of them two. Fanu will fall because he looks like a guard with his footwork.
He does. Yeah. Hey, question: If Finals falls to 14, you comfortable with it, Jordan and Coach?
Yeah, I would be. I feel really good about it, actually.
He said, "I feel really good about it, actually."
Hey, remember I said, look, it feels like it's a Kyle Hamilton type of year waiting to happen.
Somebody's coming. Pause. Yeah, somebody's falling down.
The guy that I think made a case to be a first rounder today was Monroe Freeling.
Yeah. Oh, he made that case.
Right. And see, that's what I'm saying. So if you start to put in some of these guys that either was late first round or either definitive day 2 guys that have made up some ground, right there, mathematically, it knocks 3 or 4 people out of the top 10 that we thought they was going to go in. So right now I'm looking at guys like that, like a Fanu. Like, hey, okay, look, man, shoot, man, we don't need this. Okay, we kind of fall in love with a player like a Sony Styles. Okay, you fall in love with that player. So guess what? That means, hey, we're going to get the cream of the crop from one particular position, probably even 2, when it comes down to what we get for 14.
I think the player that made the biggest leap is the one no one was talking about, and that's Lorenzo Styles Jr., because he was considered a day 3 prospect on every prospect list. And after he became the fastest safety in history, I bet you he's going to jump way up. He's going to be like a late first round, early second.
Yeah, I would say if you took the 2 that I think jumped up the most, he's one of them. I don't know if he's going to jump up that high, but I mean, some team always falls in love with speed, so like it could always happen. I thought that Mike Washington, also by virtue of Emmett Johnson and Price having worse 40s than expected, and honestly just like worse days than expected. And then Mike Washington came in, he said, yeah, you think I'm a power back. Okay, you're about to learn something. I'm going to run a 4.33, and guess what? That power is still there on film, too, so go ahead and go watch that.
Right. He moved himself. He was considered a 4th rounder. If you looked at every prospect list, he averaged out to somewhere around pick 115 to 135, depending on which list you looked at. He should be jumping up at least to the 50s.
Yeah, He almost like, it's so funny. Like I was almost in the same boat as him because I've been screaming to people. Like I love him to death. I think he's awesome. I would have had him above Price if I didn't know so many Notre Dame fans that would freak out in my messages all day long. But I think with him too, it's just like that video of him like crying as he's like calling, probably I'm assuming his parents or his significant other, about like hey, ran a 4.33. Like it happened. Like seeing that emotional moment, I'm like, that's what the combine's about, man. That's what the freaking combine's about.
So quick question, Jeremy.
You jump the
There's some
rail
reports
after
that
after a
David
loss,
Montgomery
a big
wants out.
loss to help a
He
Mike
already
member.
refuted it.
Like, why did you
Yeah.
Oh, you refuted it? Okay, because
Yeah,
I was going to
within
ask
2
you.
minutes, within 2 minutes of it being posted, he himself posted, said, "Damn, Demo said that."
Well, no, I was going to ask you if he wanted out, would Mike Washington be a good replacement?
Oh, 100%. If we had the right pick to do that and not have the whole other holes we need,
Outstanding job today, Vanga.
I think taking a power back for
He is a
us,
special
because of how
man
good
on the
Gibbs
field and
is,
off the field,
we
as I
could
throw it
late
back
and
to you.
take one later, one of the late bloomers that wasn't even at the
He should move in the
combine,
top
like
10
Chip
just based on
Trayanum
chocolate
or
chip
Adam
and
Randall,
banana
who
bread. Way to
didn't
go,
have
my
the
man.
combine
Up
everybody
next,
expected him to have.
Right.
Man. Yeah, but I thought that was the best part about, and like it's sad because you don't want to ever see it. You don't want to see people go down. You want to see people just show up. But the sad part was just watching the two running backs that everybody had pigeonholed at running back 2 and 3, and then like everybody was kind of different in 4. Everything fast depending on fast. I had Mike Washington there. Some people had Coleman. Some people had different guys over there. But like that's where he gets to move up, right?
Right.
Like
he should be easily a day 2 pick, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mike Washington.
I agree. Should be a round 2 pick.
What's a good team fit for Mike Washington?
Anybody that has the speed back. That's all you got to do. If they got a speed back and they don't have a true power back, he's a north and south runner.
Oh, I got a great team that he can go to. I don't know if they'll do it though. Depending on what's going on with the rest of their running backs, Denver Broncos will be in the market for him.
Right.
Yeah.
RJ Harvey is that speed back who's just a touch faster than him. But if you look at Mike Washington, he basically is Jahmyr Gibbs with power.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved watching this film because like I was telling people about it. I'm like, man, like early on this season when I first started doing films, like way early into the college season, I was like, man, these running backs just don't have pop for me. Like I'm waiting for it. Obviously, Jeremiah loved it. I don't think anyone questioned that one. But like all the other guys past that, it's like, man, like where's the pop? Where's something interesting? Where's juice? Where is it at?
It was, for me, the guys were Washington, Whittington at times, Randall, and then the guy I mentioned that nobody really pays attention to because not a lot of people watch the MAC. That's that Trip Trayanum out of Toledo. The MAC is known for really good defense and normally passing offensive. This was his only year being able to play a full season at running back because when he was going to Arizona State, he was buried on the depth chart. He transfers to Ohio State. They make him a linebacker and a gunner. Then he transfers to Toledo in his first year, and he was a 4-star recruit at running back. This is the crazy thing. He gets to Toledo. He gets his first chance to start. He averages 5.6 yards per carry. In 12 games, he rushes for 1,075 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. See, but I think like it, and it's funny because like another guy I like in this class is like Robert Henry Jr. Nobody's really talking about him as much either.
Would say.
And what? Yeah.
UTSA. Would say.
Yep. And he's a slower back too. Like I knew at the 40, like that was not going to be his thing. His thing that's so cool when he's running is he takes a cut and his cut moves him up 3 yards. It's like his cuts are almost faster than his speed.
Like he jumps faster than he runs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like he has just rare cuts, and I don't know what it's going to turn into at the next level, but it's interesting enough. And like, there's not a lot of interesting enough guys in this class at the running back as a whole.
And the interesting one to me was Kendall Daniels not even running drills or doing the combine at all. He just went there for the interviews. I really wanted to see that guy run because if he ran the 4.5 or faster, like everybody expected him to run at 6'5" and 242, they'd be talking about him almost as much as Sonny Styles. So with him not running, and if he doesn't run at his pro day and just does drills there, I want to see who takes him in day 3.
Y'all want to do a quick winners and losers from each group?
My guy is Le'Veon Moss, though. I just want to throw that out there.
I know that. Good boy.
Yeah.
I wrote about him.
Y'all want to do winners and losers from each position group?
Yeah, sure.
So where do you want to start at?
I think we started quarterback. It's first group, at least on my spreadsheet. So I'm going this.
My winner, 100%, was Taylon Green. My loser was Drew Aller.
For me, my winner, I like.
No, you think Drew Aller was a loser?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Oh, did you not see when he was they were testing his arm strength and he was just throwing at the pillow? He couldn't even get it to throw a spiral. It was like slapping at the thing sideways. It was nasty because he's only 5 yards away from it. And when he was throwing, it came out sideways.
Yeah, but if you looked at all the other drills, like when he was actually throwing to live humans, he was
live humans.
he had the best arm strength. The deep ball was there. The ball popped effortlessly.
Carson Beck looked pretty good throwing the ball deep too. What are you talking about?
He looks solid, but Drew Aller to me is not a loser in my opinion.
He was to me. I think he's still a day 3 pick.
I thought if I don't know if he jumped up to first or second round, but I do think that he reminded people of why he was an early Heisman favorite going into last season. His arm is pretty live. It's pretty live. They even complimented him on the show about how the ball just jumped out of his hand, and he threw some really good on-time passes. I didn't see the thing you're talking about throwing the pillow thing. I don't know. That's kind of a weird drill anyway. But when you're talking about hitting a moving target, which is what you're going to have to do in the NFL, I thought he did pretty good in that.
Yeah, with no pressure, he's great.
Yeah.
I think the winner for me, I think what Trevor was saying earlier, I agree, even though I've been like one of his biggest critics in the draft circle. Ty Simpson had a really, really good day. And granted, in shorts and a t-shirt. That was a great.
There is one more other loser, Diego Pavia.
You mean the front? But don't worry, his frontal cortex.
I don't think you can lose when you really never won. Like you wasn't a winner coming in.
I know. Well, the thing I think hurt him the most is brand, right? His comments. I think his comments, because people are gonna be like, hey, you know what, you bombed the draft. But to come out and say, hey, I'm basically immature and I'm not going to mature until I'm 25.
That was crazy.
It's wild to say.
And then the cocky statements about being the best guy in the coming out.
Yeah, that was wild. He just wild in general, but the only way you can stand out is by saying crazy stuff. So
my other loser, and granted, I don't think anyone really had him on his draft board, but he drove me up a wall insane all day just watching him.
I'm getting my ginger ales, baby.
Love my burners.
But Fagnano. Oh my god, I can pronounce his name. The UConn quarterback. He has been in college for 8 years. How do you look like that? Like that man was missing everything on earth. Like I couldn't believe he couldn't. I don't think he had like one group where it looked like great. Hopefully this is just an off day for him, like you want to see somebody improve like that. But if there's ever been a person in the world to you're not getting drafted, that looks like it right now. And you probably could have invited a D2 or D3 quarterback and had a better time. You got winner, loser, Matt, or coach?
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt. You good?
I don't really have one, so go ahead.
So if I'm going off of recent history, I think Cole Payton didn't help himself out enough from South Dakota. To me, it looked like he's a developmental project, and I don't see that with his film. Right? I don't know if it was the stage. I don't know if it was hey, look, I don't know what my expectations are, but especially coming from the Dakota States, they have performed well on the NFL stage in the combine. You look at Christian Watson, you look at Lance, you look at Lance's brother. So you got the guys that's been there before. So you kind of like, hey, look, I got some examples, and I just felt like he could have made himself possibly get in the top 5 or either rankings for quarterbacks. And I just felt like he was comfortable with like where he was. So I would have liked to see a little bit more from him.
Yeah. Biggest winners for me is overall. I would just go overall. Are we still talking about quarterbacks?
I was just gonna go position by position, but
yeah, I'm gonna do that. I mean, obviously, I think Drew Allard was a winner for me. Obviously, I'm not gonna say Todd Simpson because you already took that one. I think Drew Allard was a winner for me, and a bigger loser at quarterback. I would say biggest loser for quarterback is y'all said Pavia, right?
Mhm.
And then we talk about Hayes King was actually not a loser.
Yeah, I thought he had a good day.
Yeah.
He was
I'm
solid.
gonna get creative here. I'm gonna say the biggest loser is Trinidad Chambliss. Because looking at the quarterbacks here,
God, he'd have been the second.
He would have been the number 2 pick in the draft. Like he based off his last season at Ole Miss and what he could have done at the combine, he would have replaced Dante Moore as the number 2 pick. And so I think he's the biggest loser by going back to school.
So him not getting picked by the Jets makes him a loser. I think that's a win.
No, because I believe he'll never get the chance to be the number 2 pick again.
Yeah, that's
he'll
fair.
never get it again.
But
he'll never get a chance to be the number 2 pick. Once you get in the league, like I remember there was a time no one wanted to go play quarterback for the Bengals, and then Joe Burrow made it a thing, right? I remember some of these teams, Jacksonville, right? Teams that just had a history of not having a good quarterback until they found one. I just think if you're really good, you can go to a situation and you can be a light in a dark room. And this is the only year in which he would have had an opportunity to go that high. And now you're going to come out next year in the draft in which you might not even be in the top 5 at quarterbacks. So biggest loser is Trinidad Chambliss. Love the kid. Think he's super talented. I just think he miscalculated by just going back to school for another year, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't give you guys my winner, by the way. I think the biggest one, well, you guys named some of the other winners. The biggest one is Cade Klubnik from Clemson, because he was dragged through the mud for how Clemson looked at times throughout the college football season. And for him to walk through that adversity and come out and have the showing that he had, I just felt like that's a great rebound for him. I'm not sitting there saying, hey, he's going to crack the top 10 with his performance, but it's like, look, if you had some skepticism about Clemson throughout the season, you looked at his performance and say, hey, all right, it all wasn't on him as well. So I think that was a good showing for him. And who knows, he may crack day 2 when it comes down to getting picked as a quarterback.
Yeah. And so yes, Burrow wants to leave the Bengals as far as it being a popular place to play, for sure. But it proves my point of you could be a good player in a bad place and still be successful, right? He took them to the Super Bowl and he got paid, and he's still an all-pro quarterback because it doesn't matter what team you go to. If you're really that guy, you're going to shine no matter what. So that's kind of my thought process on it. It's not necessarily making the Jets a desirable place. It just shows that you can be a good place and you can be a good player in a bad place. I'll just throw some of mine now because I have to go. Overall positions, though, I think the Styles brothers, really big winners. I think Mekhi Lemon, even though he didn't do anything besides catch the ball, I thought he was a winner. I thought the receiving core group as a whole was winners as a whole. Carnell Tate, though, I felt like he did kind of lose as an individual. I think he was a loser. He didn't run as fast as I think he needed to, and he didn't separate himself. I was looking for one wide receiver to really separate themselves from the rest of the pack and be that number 1, and he wasn't, right? He didn't do it. And Mekhi didn't do anything. He didn't run or anything. All he did was catch passes in the gauntlet drill and run routes. And Tate could have really separated himself, but he did not. Jadarian Price also had an opportunity to solidify himself as RB2. I don't think he really did that. Big winner, obviously, Kenyon Sadiq. That boy just made a lot of money as a tight end. I think he's going to get paid a lot of money. I mean, he's going to get drafted pretty high. And he really separated himself for the rest of the pack as a tight end. And then the linebacking class, phenomenal. All winners. Like I mean, this is the best group I've seen in like recent memory that I can think of. So pretty good. Biggest losers though, it's probably the free agency class at some of these positions. If you're a tight end as a free agent right now, it's not a good time to be a free agent tight end or safety for that matter, because this draft is loaded at those positions.
Mm-hmm. For sure. How about running backs, y'all feel? I know Matt just gave his full broad ones.
For me, there was two big winners. There were three big winners at running back. Eli Heidenreich out of Navy, Mike Washington Jr., and Damon Claiborne. I think they helped their draft stocks out tremendously. Everybody else, they were exactly what we thought they were. I think Robert Henry Jr. helped himself, of course, running that solid 4 or 5. But at the end of the day, it's kind of what they said in his draft profile. That was exactly what he would be. Does anybody disagree with that?
I thought Jam Miller was faster than I expected him to be. That was a better time than I expected on him. For the most part, I agree with you, though. Obviously, Mike Washington's my big winner. I've talked about him ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go too deep with that. A big loser for me, and like it wasn't meant to be his event, but as a guy who is a truther and has him as his number 2 running back, Emmett Johnson did not look as good as you'd want him to. 4.6, just like any way you make it out, it's not the one run you want to have. I thought both the running back 2s, to Matt's point, Jadarian Price and him as a whole, like they didn't look that great. I didn't like how they looked. And then I think another one, and it's like no fault of himself, but Desmond Reed still dealing with all those lingering injuries, not being able to test. When you're 5'6", like you need any
80 soaking wet.
Yeah, and then you need any reason to show someone something and you can't. That sucks for you. How about you, Coach? Any running backs?
No, I mean I'm on the side of the whole entire. I think the whole entire running back draft itself was a little shaky because again the NFL has had it a couple of years where they're talking the diminishing returns for running backs. So I thought this was their time to really go light it up, and I just didn't see that from the group as a whole. Because like you with the wide receivers and even some of the tight ends, you could feel the juice. You could feel it like, hey, look, this is our time to show out. And I felt like some of the guys took that to heart and actually went out there and lit it up. The Chris Broswells of the world, the Jeff Caldwells of the world. I believe those guys was like, hey, look, we always hear about people talking about us and so forth. And we're going to go out here and show like, hey, we're not some big clunky wide receivers. We can run, we're agile and so forth. So I felt like, hey, again, like I said, our skill positions, the running back was probably the least entertaining, even with the Mike Washingtons of the world and the Jeremiah Loves of the world. I just felt like some of the other guys didn't live up to some of the expectations. Whereas with the wide receivers, some of the guys did live up to the expectations, and some guys even went past some of the expectations that we have, especially for a guy like a Chris Broswell from Tennessee, because Tennessee wide receiver room has not had a good representation over the last few years in the draft. And I just felt like, hey, he was that breath of fresh air. It's like, hey, wait a minute. We probably don't need to generalize the wide receivers. Let's give this guy a chance as well. So,
and to reiterate something somebody said earlier, I think wide receivers, tight ends, linebackers, and cornerbacks that are free agents lost this year. All 4 of those rooms showed out.
And then I think I'm reading the comments as well. Biggest losers, everyone that opted out of competing. I don't necessarily think that. I think there were a lot of guys that shouldn't have been in this combine because it's just adding extra ammo to lose. Like Ruben Bain's never going to test with David Bailey and Arvell Reese. It's just not going to happen. I love Ruben Bain to death. He's my number one across my whole board. Nothing would have changed it based on the combine, but I know for a lot of people, if like he ran a bad time, it could have absolutely destroyed him. CJ Allen, a very similar guy to that. He's never going to flash you away with athleticism or speed or any expectations like that, but he's uniquely intelligent, uniquely smart. I don't think it hurts him sitting out of a combine. There's a few guys I would have liked to see compete that didn't. I was kind of surprised by. I was a little bit surprised Vega didn't run because I thought he would run. But outside of that, most of the top end guys I was fine with sitting. Jordan Tyson, obviously, because of injuries, not his fault whatsoever.
Yep.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Shout out to Ted Hurst. I wanted to.
Yeah,
my guy made some money, man. That's my guy.
He stole my wide receiver just now.
Yeah, happy for him. Check the private chat, Jordan. So yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in, man. We appreciate it. We went back to back, right? We went to this morning with the Trevor Sycamore from PFF interview. Make sure you go back and watch that on YouTube at Draft Nerds, or you can go on my YouTube page, my Twitter page, and go to, or X page, I should say, and go to at Talking Ball 1. And you can see the full interview there as well. It'll be on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon later today as well. So make sure you guys check us out there. And then next week, we are back on the air again with the Black Wing Playbook, myself, Coach Michael Pierce, and Cordell Woodland. Will be bringing you another hot episode of the Black Wing Podcast. So make sure you keep it locked. Go back and listen to that one. That one, the first Black Wing episode was last week, and we featured Marquise Hollywood Brown was on that show. So if you didn't catch that interview, you can go and find that on YouTube as well, on Black Wing Playbook, also on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon as well. Thank you again. Any last words from the fellas? What do you guys have?
I wanted to give a shout out to Ted Hurst, to Barry Brown, and to Antonio Williams. They made me happy. That's it.
Hey, the other guy I want to mention that helped his draft stock, Jeff Caldwell. Nobody saw that speed coming out of him. So the last thing I want to say is what I tell my viewers when I end every show I do, and that's try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. Make sure you go check out these guys at Draft Nerds, She Talks Football, and check out my channel if you want to learn about Lions content and NFL content. It is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions.
Appreciate that. Love it.
Let's get it. I love it. Hey, look, y'all know me. I'm super positive. Support one another. You never know when we're not going to have these type of times when we can get together and talk ball. So as much as you can, especially if it don't cost anything, support your brethren, even if you don't agree with some of the stuff they're talking about, because we don't lose out on certain opportunities. So again, just make sure, hey, look, appreciate one another, spread love, not hate. And hey, we out here.
Yes, sir. All right. See y'all.